Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister and Director General, for having me here and participating in this today. As was said, we've been around for about 90 years. We have 500 members, and we have a newsletter, which is an 8-page magazine which goes out to 2,500 residents, and we use that to communicate with our residents and get feedback. So we really believe that we represent the community views on a number of issues, and we've been very active in some of the planning issues in our suburb. The primary objective when the organisation was formed was to support the advancement of the community comprising the suburb of Northbridge, and that is still the major objective. From the beginning, planning and infrastructure were major issues for us. In 1938, it's recorded transport, sewerage, roads were all major issues. And since then, there's been enormous changes to our suburb, but the issues we're dealing with remain very much the same. Infrastructure, in particular, traffic and parking. We are a pleasant middle harbour suburb on a peninsula, with one major artery down the spine. Since the Planning Act was introduced, our suburb has doubled in size. There are more houses. There are bigger houses as bungalows get demolished to make way for larger homes, and also there's been subdivision to allow dual occupancy or larger blocks to have additional homes built on them. Car ownership in the same time has gone from less than 1 to about 2.5. When I came to Northbridge 20 years ago, the local primary school did not have enough students and was threatened with closure. Now the student population has doubled, there are 8 new classrooms, and students are flocking to the school from nearby areas. We also have a private primary school which has doubled in size in the same time, and a new preparatory school less than 1 kilometre away. Limited public transport means many children arrive by cars that bring them and take them out along the one access road. The process is repeated at the end of the day, and the suburb is a traffic nightmare with 4 peak hours every school day. This growth has occurred with no additional infrastructure. There are no more roads, no more public transport, there's less parking, and importantly, no plans to do anything about it. And there's a new LEP currently going through the approval process that aims to increase the density even more. I recently attended a JRPP meeting considering a nursing home development plan for Northbridge. It had been rejected by council as it did not comply with state government and council controls for height, floor space ratio and landscaped area. We were not impressed when the chairman of the panel said they were not bound by these matters. When we pointed out there was insufficient parking for staff, let alone visitors, and the traffic implications had not been considered, the response was just like the rest of Sydney. We're not against the nursing home per se. We know there's a need for such a facility, but what is the point of having a plan unless you stick to it? A process that allows changes by precedent without consultation or consideration of wider issues is not a transparent or appropriate process. We know, for example, there's a shortage of good-sized medium-density dwellings available for empty nesters who want to downsize. However, the planning rules that have been imposed restrict the number of parking places, and controls that allow 1 parking space for 2 one-bedroom apartments ignore the needs of residents. We believe cars should be moved off the street. We have so far unsuccessfully sought a comprehensive traffic study for our suburb. Such information, we believe, is critical to understanding the traffic implications and infrastructure needs of new developments. We are not a no progress association. We do want progress, that's in our constitution, but we want it with planning which takes into account the legitimate needs of residents. We want it to be agreed through a genuine consultation process and then stuck to. We want to see an end to the overruling of agreed controls by unelected bodies. We want a suburb the community can enjoy, and not a place of high-rise buildings choked with traffic. So what would a planning system look like? It would be simple, or at least simpler. It would be subject to review at regular intervals, not 30 years with hundreds of amendments. It would ensure meaningful consultation with community groups. It would ensure that processes were transparent. It would take account of current and projected demographics. It would require infrastructure to be a part of the plan. It would be binding. Thank you.